Hello, this is Dazzling One, and this week's topic is Gnosticism. I was asked by Marquez Parker, and I apologize in the past for those of you who have asked me to cover a topic and I didn't name you for giving me the idea. I'm going to start name dropping unless you don't want me to. Ideas like Mary Magdalene was Yeshua's wife stem from it. It contains elements of Oriental mysticism, Zoroastrian dualism, Greek philosophy, Alexandrian, Philonic, and Jewish Kabbalistic philosophy. Gnosis comes from the Greek, which means to know. Gnostics claim to possess a higher knowledge, but not from the Bible. They say it's acquired by some mystical higher plane of existence. Gnostics see themselves as a privileged class, elevated above everybody else by their higher, deeper knowledge of God. They teach that sin arose from matter, that the material world is bad, but the spiritual world is good. All matter is evil. Gnostics believe anything done in the body, even the grossest sin, has no meaning, because real life exists in the spirit realm only. Since our bodies are made of matter and we're corrupted, we can sin, and it's really not a big deal. To Gnostics, human rationalism dictates truth, and they seek to solve the metaphysical and theological conundrums through reason alone. According to one Gnostic myth, the shaping of the material world was the result of Sophia, who was often described as an emanation of eternal light, an immaculate mirror of God's activity, and as the spouse of the Lord. Through her desire to know the Father, she was cast out of the pleroma, the Gnostic heaven, and her desire gave birth to the God who created the material world. Although she was eventually restored to the pleroma, bits of her divinity remain in the material world. To them, who we know as God, or Yahweh, was created by Sophia's desire, also referred to as Demiurge. The God of the Old Testament is seen as inferior to Gnostics and as evil, angry, violent. They claim that it is his fault that the world is in the mess it is, due to the fact that he created it, and that the world is evil. The higher transcendent God, not the creator of the material world, so they're not referring to Yahweh, instead is the nurturer of the spiritual. The only hope for mankind, while locked in this evil shell of a body, is to spiritually transcend this world and deny the body. They also believe that Sophia freed Adam and Eve from the Garden of Eden. Sound familiar? This is what Luciferians believe. Sophia is Lucifer, or Satan, or the old serpent. Because they believe that parts of her are left on earth, that would be her sparks, and that fills some humans, and some humans have more of that spark than others. Some Gnostics believe in reincarnation, but what's even more disturbing is that they believe in salvation through the divine knowledge which frees one from the illusion of darkness. In 1945, in Nag Hammadi, Egypt, there were texts found now known as the Gnostic Gospels. There were 12 books bound in leather, plus 8 pages of a 13th book. The pages of these books were papyrus and contained 52 Coptic texts, some of which appear more than once. So this is a collection, numbers 45 writings, 10 of which severely damaged, while the rest are reasonably legible. Many of these documents had been known about for centuries, as several other ancient documents contain references to them. Though their title suggests they had been authored by such biblical names such as Judas, Mary, John, and Thomas, it is believed that even the first of them, the Gospel of Thomas, was not written until the middle of the 2nd century, well after Thomas would have died. While the documents do contain some fanciful accounts of the life of Jesus, they appear to be nothing more than fables, with no basis in actual history, rather than complementing the Christian faith. They merge Christian beliefs with the spiritual philosophies of the Greeks and Romans. You ever take a look at these texts, which I've never taken time to read them, but I've heard some people come to me with it. Much of it contradicts what the scripture says, and when people talk about people preaching Gnosticism, what they mean is this ideal that they love the knowledge more than faith. They're looking too deep into the spiritual. They're chasing that rather than being concerned with their soul and salvation. I do believe that Yahweh or Yeshua can give us revelation from time to time or a new word. But I also believe that some people get so caught up in this idea of, I gotta find the next spiritual truth, I gotta have the next big thing, that they're no longer hearing from God, but they're hearing from themselves or from Satan, and they get wrapped up in this knowledge, and they love the knowledge more than they love truth. Real truth, not this pseudo-truth, not this man-made truth. And this is what Gnosticism is. It's the worship of knowledge, and we see this in the last days. Whether you believe in the Gnostic doctrine or not, just the worship of knowledge and this deeper metaphysical spiritual knowledge is its own form of Gnosticism. So just be very careful and wary of that, of anyone who gets too wrapped up in it, and beware of getting too wrapped up in it yourself, because I've, on my journey to learn more and discover the truth and see and separate and testing the spirit, I've come to places where I really had to pray, because I almost fell into the trap of some Gnostic ideologies. But through the grace of Yahweh, He was able to keep me from that, and I'll continue to pray and reevaluate everything that I talk about. And if something I say doesn't line up with scripture, then throw it out. Sadly, a lot of Gnosticism has infiltrated Christianity, whether it's through a church or through a ministry online. So I hope that you found this video interesting and it answered the question of what Gnosticism is. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm so bad with getting back to you guys. I have so many mountains of responses I still need to reply to. If you look at any of my past videos, I haven't responded in forever. Again, I'm on a full schedule this semester, 18 credit hours, but I'm my third weekend out of 16, so 13 more weeks to go of school. But I'll talk to you next week. Have a wonderful week. Take care, and Yahweh bless you.